Hello, and welcome to today's Up to Thrive Manage Your Mind Mindful Moment.
Welcome to Opt to Thrive, your go-to podcast for women's wellness in midlife, designed to educate, support, and inspire you to live your very best life. And now your host, Dr. Karina Sims.
Today I want to talk about something I do that has really helped me get through some pretty tough times and even just days when I'm feeling a little flat. And hopefully there's something here that you might be able to use too. Now, you may have noticed I have a very overactive mind, and it can be pretty exhausting, especially those days when I'm going along, minding my own business, doing my job, and that little voice in my head is on repeat. I'm bored. I want to be doing something else now. And I know as long as I keep my brain engaged, it's happy. But very frequently, if it has even a second to rest, it's off and running and trying to drag me right along with it. Often, it really is like that toddler I've talked about before. You know, the one loose with a Sharpie inside my brain. If I'm in clinic and I'm running ahead of schedule, which thankfully doesn't happen a lot, I know that sounds funny, but hear me out. If I'm running ahead and my results are checked and my calls are made, and really the only thing I have left to do is to see the patients on my list for the day, then often my brain decides it doesn't want to be there anymore. But then the next patient arrives and I'm perfectly happy doing what I love doing, problem solving, engaging, connecting, all the things. But if I don't keep that toddler engaged, more often than not, she's off with that damn Sharpie again. This is why I have so many strategies and so much experience managing my mind, because she keeps me pretty damn busy. So when I have one of those days, or I'm going through a particularly stressful period and I'm feeling flat or stressed, one of the things I like to do to distract my toddler is to look for the joy. It's like how we used to play I Spy with our 5-year-old, or getting them to see how many times they can run around the house. Then let's see how fast you can do it this time. I know this is sounding a little cray-cray, but if you have a very active mind like mine, you can probably relate. And if you don't, wow, that's awesome. I have read that some people have quiet minds, and I often dream about what that might be like. But I also like to think of my overactive mind as my superpower, and this power can be used for good or evil. So I am very conscious of managing it closely so it serves me rather than hurts me or others. So yes, the tool. What I do is redirect my brain from commiserating on whatever is causing it to be flat. And let's face it, it often is something trivial or nothing at all, just the 50-50 of life. The 50 when there's nothing particularly exciting or pleasurable happening, or the sky is gray, or someone was rude, or my husband does that thing where he's obviously upset about something, but he says nothing when you ask him what's wrong, and you know you just have to wait for him to finish processing whatever it is before he's going to be ready to talk about it. So any number of things really, and sometimes you can't really put your finger on it. Not sure, just feel flat. It's those times when I like to lean into the little pleasures of life, the ones we have every day, but almost never take the time to really appreciate. I promise you they are there, and even just the process of looking for them can be a relief. As once again, your toddler is distracted running laps around the house. I've talked about the feeling of my feet in my shoes before as I walk, really feeling the stretch as my foot moves through the step from the heel to the toe, how it feels really nice, like a massage. But there are so many other things to appreciate. The feel of the warm water on my cold hands when I wash them. Even feeling the softness of the toilet paper when I wrap it around my hand. The smell of someone's beautiful perfume that's just left my office. or of the really lovely air freshener I use for those who have left a different smell. The sound of a happy song playing on the stereo outside of my office door. The sound of the sheets on the line in the breeze on a sunny day. The smell of those fresh sheets when I've just pulled them off the line and I'm putting them on my bed. The sounds of the birds in the mornings greeting the world as it's waking up. The smell of the wood fire and the sound of it crackling in the fireplace. The smell of something nice cooking on the stove. The beauty of the blueness of the sky and the way the sun feels on my skin. The fluffiness of the clouds like great big pillows of cotton wool. The kindness in the eyes of my old Kelpie and the softness of her fur as I'm giving her a pat. The sound of twigs and leaves I'm trotting on and the beauty of the morning fog or the sunrise as I slowly walk her around the block. The happiness of those ducks and their babies swimming in the lagoon. The laughter of the kookaburra, the song of the magpie. The goofiness of those emus as they run this way and that way, frantically trying to get away from me. The joey peeking out from its mama's pouch. The joy on the faces of my children in the pictures I keep on my sunroom desk. The feel of a good book in my hands. I could go on, but I think you get the idea. I hope maybe even just the feel of seeing some of those things in your mind's eye as I listed them has brightened your day. And the next time you're feeling a little flat, remember there is joy to be found all around us. Sometimes we just have to look a little harder to find it. Hey, before you go, I just want to share a very exciting announcement. At the time that this podcast episode airs, the Midlife Health and Body Reset doors are open. They will be closing tomorrow. So if you're interested in getting in on the program, you'll find a link in the show notes. And if you want to know more about the strategies that I use, the approach that I take, I also did a midlife masterclass last week, just to let women know what is going on with their bodies in this stage of life and what they can be doing to best optimize their health and their strength and their vitality and their energy and their waistline if that's something that you're looking at trying to improve. Again, when this episode airs, it will have been last week, and that is also available until tomorrow. So if you want to get in on the replay of that masterclass, I'll also put a link in the show notes. And if you've got to this episode a little bit later than the time that it was published and the Midlife Health and Body Reset is something that you might be interested in the future, there is a priority list that you can get onto and you'll be the first to hear when there are any more masterclasses or when the doors open the next time. I'll leave a link for the priority list in the show notes as well. I hope you've enjoyed this Manage Your Mind mindful moment. And if you have, and you can think of someone else who might enjoy it, please pass it on. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast to make it more visible to those who might get something out of it too. Have a great week, everyone. And until then, I hope you opt to thrive.
The Opt to Thrive podcast is designed for information purposes only and is not engaged in the giving of medical advice. The information provided on the podcast should not be used for diagnosing or treating a health problem or disease. In no way should the information provided by Opt to Thrive be considered medical advice, and at all times the advice of a medical professional should supersede recommendations from Opt to Thrive. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, you should consult your healthcare provider. The views expressed in this podcast are purely that of Dr. Sims and do not in any way reflect those of the institutions she contracts her medical services to.
Thank you for listening to Opt to Thrive. If you've enjoyed listening, please rate and share the podcast. You can visit our website at opttothrive.com and leave a comment for any subjects you would like to hear more about.